Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Another Friday. Where are we now? Oh, getting towards the end of January, which is good because I don't like January. Please do say hello in the comment if you're there. Good morning, Maria, so that I know I'm not talking to myself because it'd be a bit sad and lonely, really. Good morning, Susie. Good morning on this cold and frosty morning. That sounds like a song. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Petronella. Good morning, Jane. Time does indeed fly, Petronella. I don't know where it goes. I kind of blink and it's all gone. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Caroline. We have no rain, thankfully, today. It's the first time this week. But it is very, very cold out there. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Jess. You have Eric this morning, not Pete. He's out doing important business. But Eric is here, fast asleep on the chair beside me down here, under a pile of blankets, which sounds like the best place to be, really. Good morning, Mel. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Diane. Lots of lovely people. Thank you so much for joining me. Good morning, Rachel. Yes, definitely frosty. Maria, nice blouse. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wasn't sure if I felt a little bit like a pair of Granny's curtains or something, but it was in the sale, so you know. Good morning, Christine. Yes, very cold and frosty here in the south of England, but it's not raining. The sky is clear blue, so we have to count our blessings, which means that we will be able to take someone of the four-legged variety out for a WALK. He won't go out when it's raining, so he hasn't been out for a couple of days. He gets as far as the front gate and then just refuses, so we'll have a nice stroll today. Good morning, Kay. Good morning, everyone. Morning, morning, morning. Right, Sue says it is cold and very frosty in Somerset too. Yeah, it's that kind of day. But I don't mind that kind of day. It's quite nice. Quite nice. Hope everyone is well today in this kind of bizarre holding pattern we are in at the moment. As always, if you've got any questions throughout the chat, do pop them in the comments. Karen says she doesn't blame him. No, I don't blame Eric for not going for a walk in the rain either. I am a little bit thankful, if I'm honest. Good morning, Tess. Mel, I'm popping the kettle on. Nothing like a cheeky gossip session to end a Friday with. Yes, we are talking about gossip today, but a bit of magic thrown in there. Maria says, new bottle. Yes, I have. My husband bought me this for Christmas. It is from the BE Water range, and it has crystals inside it. Yeah, I use them all the time. Very, very good. Sue, rather cold than wet. Yes, cold weather, lovely. If you're wrapped up warm, wet, no. Cold, frosty, and bright and sunny here in the Fens from Susie. Lovely, lovely. Becky, oh, power cut. And got the log burner on here. Oh, luckily you have a log burner. I like the idea of a log burner. That'd be fab. Good morning, Crystal. Morning, Lani. Good morning, Xenia. Good morning, Leslie. So is that your nose? Hello. It's a little nose moving under the blankets. Sue, gossip. I could tell you a few stories. Yep, I bet we all could. The reason that I picked gossip is because I picked a Flower Magic card for today's talk. Jane has lovely blue sky. Excellent. So, as always, throughout the talks, if you've got any questions about the subject that we're talking about, good morning, Kerry. Pop them in the comments. If you've got any questions about witchcraft in general, pop it in the comments and I will do my very best to answer them. And if you have any subjects you'd like me to talk about in the future, send me a message, pop it in the comments, and we will take it from there. I do like suggestions about what to talk about because sometimes I run out of ideas. So I thought this week I would pull a card from the Flower Magic Oracle deck. Good morning, Jackie. Good frosty morning. Yeah, it is. Good morning, Debbie. From the Flower Magic. So I pulled a card from the Flower Magic deck and I got Foxglove, which is all about poison. You see there, just get it in the right. There's a very, very angry looking woman there, actually. She looks really quite irate about something. So Foxglove and Poison is the card for today, which gave me the idea to talk about gossip. So let me read you the meaning from the card. The little chant is: avoid the gossip and the idle chatter. Speak words of truth, don't just flatter. Poison is spread in falsehood and lies. Ignore those who shout and seek to surprise. Guard your ears and protect your heart. Stand firm in knowing what sets you apart. So this is Foxglove, which warns of poison all around you in the form of gossip and rumours. Just keep an ear out for what is going on around you and bring in your protection. Words can be pleasant, encouraging, uplifting, and all kinds of lovely, but they can also be loaded with poison, and those babies can sting really bad. Sticks and stones may not break your bones, but words can really hurt you. For whatever unknown and unfathomable reason, some human beings set out to hurt others. Just be wary of those around you. You probably know who it is right now. Don't take the bait, just rise above it. Don't retaliate, ride it out. Foxglove is also a card of fairies, and they bring their own danger. Trust me when I say that they are not all glittery winged pretties. In reality, they can be pesky little beggars. They must be treated with respect and caution, for many love nothing more than to mess with humans, causing chaos and havoc wherever and whenever possible. So Foxglove's magic, very, very beautiful, graceful flowers that the bees absolutely adore. Grow them in your garden for protection. Foxglove works very well in keeping away the poison that comes with rumour and tittle-tattle by keeping them in a hallway, although I don't think they'd grow very well in the hallway. I think you'd have to have them as cut flowers in the hallway. Be careful, though, because they are very toxic to humans and to animals, so make sure they aren't anywhere that your pets can get hold of them. The goddess Flora placed a flower on her thumb and then touched Juno on her breasts and belly, and voila, baby god Mars was implanted. Well, keeping it straightforward and easy. Carried to term and born. The prefix of fox may refer to the fairy folk, as it was long believed that to mention them by name was bad luck, so they were referred to as folk. So this is, I've focused on gossip today, not doing it, working magic to protect against it. Good morning, Sylvia. Maria, I was just thinking of if you would pull a card today, earlier on this morning. We're in sync, you see. Good morning, Lizzie. Xenia, I love your Flower Magic Oracle deck. I pulled cards for every night of 2021 during the 12 nights. Excellent. Brilliant. Yes, the 12 nights are really good for divination, aren't they? Sue, I pull a card on a Sunday, and the following Sunday I take a look back on the week and see if it has applied. Brilliant way of getting to know cards. Yeah, right. Let's keep up. Let's keep with the gossip. Sorry, I'm just reading all the messages to make sure I've covered everything. So yeah, it is really today. It is talking about words. We know words have power. We use words all the time in spell work. So we know that words carry power, because otherwise we wouldn't, use the words in spells. So I think it is thinking about the way that you talk and what you're saying. And this kind of covers affirmations as well. Although affirmations do tend to have a little bit of a reputation for being a bit fluffy, new agey. But it has merit. It does have merit because it involves words, and words have power. An affirmation is simply a statement of intent that declares something to be true. So how do they work? Well, when delivered effectively, the statement is heard by our subconscious mind along with every single cell in our bodies. This statement then becomes inscribed into the fabric of reality. You see, energy tends to follow our thoughts and any intentions and then makes them manifest. This is why we're always saying you don't need all the bells and whistles and tools. Intention is all you need. And to a certain extent, that is true. If your intention or your will isn't strong, then your spell isn't going to work. All the bells and whistles and the extra bits do add to the power because you have to make an effort with it. Rachel said, "Oh, we nearly lost our guinea pig Teddy to a foxglove the year before last. Thankfully, she survived and is still funny and cute as ever." Yeah, please be careful because foxgloves are toxic. And if pets get hold of them, or children or humans, it may not be a good ending. Melanie has pulled the hollyhock fruitfulness card today. Excellent. Sue says words can hurt very badly. Yeah, they can. But we can hurt ourselves with them as well. Good morning, Terry. So yeah, I think it is about thinking about how you say things and what you say. Affirmations have such a strong power as we create our own lives and our own worlds. They literally empower us. And affirmations are really effective. You can utilize the power of intention, creativity, sound, and attention all at the same time with them. And we use affirmations all the time, quite a lot without even thinking about them. Unfortunately, quite a lot of the time, we use negative ones, which is not so good. Mel, 90% of magic is intention. Yeah, I guess it depends. But yes, intention is the key for me, really. But you do have to put some effort and some work into it as well. How many times have you told yourself that you can't do something? Or have you said, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm not good enough, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. No, I'm no good at that. I mean, sometimes you have to accept it's true. I cannot sing to save my life. And there's no amount of affirmations are going to change that fact. So there are the obvious ones where words are just not going to change it. But your self-esteem, your self-confidence can all be boosted by changing the way that you say things, changing the way that you even think about things as well. What if you changed it around? What if you actually told yourself that you can do something, that you are worthy of something? Think about it. What would happen then? The world's your lobster. And you really can. I think you can change your outlook and the way that you think about things by thinking about the things that you say and how you say them. And then, of course, we turn to gossip. Which is what I want to talk about today and how we can protect against it magically. Good morning, Eva. Karen says, I can't sing, but I don't care. I still do it. Oh, yeah, I still do it, Karen. I still do it. Get me an 80s pop track on and I'm singing at the top of my lungs. Mel can't sing either. Couldn't hold a tune in a bucket if my life depended on it. Excellent. Susie says, every time I catch myself saying something negative about myself, I consciously say something positive to change the energy. Excellent. Go with it, run with it. That's the way to deal with it. Lani is guilty as charged. Maria umpteen times. Tess all the time. Debbie too many times. Yeah, we all do it. We all do it without even thinking about it. So it is about changing the way that you think and catching yourself when you do it and just changing it around. Really, it does have quite an important impact, which really is to prove that words have power. So on the flip side of that is gossip. And we've probably all been drawn into it. I know I have. You get yourself in a group of people and that's all they like to do. And I have been there and done that and worn the t-shirt and got caught into the whole toxic web of it all. It happens and it can become really nasty. And it can change the way that you act as a person as well. Let's think about it, with gossip, it can start off as a innocent piece of information that gets twisted and turned and bears no relation eventually to the actual truth or the fact. And let's face it, with all of social media and paparazzi and newspapers and TV channels, they all do it. They are, in my opinion, they should all be held accountable for it. I think if you publish a story in a paper or online or in the news, then you should be accountable for proving that it's true, for proving that it's fact, because so much of it just gets twisted or is hearsay. He said, she said, and then passed it on to her. And it's like the Chinese whispers game, isn't it? Where everything kind of gets twisted from the truth in the beginning. I have hopefully learnt my lessons, and I do avoid gossip whenever I can. I don't even read newspapers because it's all a load of trollop. Melanie, but Melanie's tone deaf, but I don't care. Yeah. Good morning, Teresa. Sue, I have a neighbour just like that, better than any newspaper. Yeah. Jackie, I always think of Chinese whispers with gossip. It's what happens. It is what happens. Karen, I try to compliment people as much as possible, as you don't know what's going on underneath the facade. I think that everyone has gossip, but it's not nice when it happens to you. And I think that's key, isn't it? If you're sitting with a group of people and they are gossiping about someone else, just think what they do when you're not there. If they're gossiping about other people within the group who aren't there, then when you're not there, I'm guessing that it's your turn to be gossiped about. So bear that in mind. Sylvia, I don't gossip or talk about people at all, but also are they the last to know everything? Yeah. And I think it's very easy to get drawn into it. Very easy to get drawn into it. But then, of course, things get picked up and you hear people have been talking about you. And it happens. People like to know what's going on in other people's lives. And I think an awful lot of envy and jealousy comes into it as well. If you've got something new or something nice, generally that you've worked for and earned, some people do tend to get jealous. And that's when gossip starts as well. Sue never reads any newspapers or listens and watches the news on telly. So much gossip and misinformation. Yep. Jane, my Avon customers used to tell me gossip about each other. I had to keep stum and wear a very tall hat. It's difficult. It is difficult to rise above it, certainly. But it's a human nature thing, sadly, I think, and we do all get caught up in it. Caroline hasn't bought a newspaper for 30 years. No, I haven't. Couldn't stand the awful way they destroy lives for entertainment. You've nailed it, Caroline. That's what they do. They don't want the good stories. They don't want the honest stories. They want that absolute dirge, and then they twist it to make it sound sensational. And all it does is ruin people's lives. You're right. So let's trash the journalist industry. But gossip, yeah, and it can hurt, and it can be very destructive. So you can work some magic to work against it. There are a few things that are absolutely brilliant for working against it. One of them is black peppercorns. Brilliant. These and cloves. Those are my two go-to. Black peppercorns and cloves are my go-to herbs, spices really, for when I want to protect against gossip. They also work really well in spells to find out the truth. So there's a kind of double whammy with that. You can also use... Where's the card gone? You can also use foxglove. I wouldn't advise using foxglove, actual foxglove plant, because I say it is very toxic. But you can use images of foxglove or have some fresh foxglove flowers on your altar when you're working with the spell. You don't want to be touching the plant pieces because it is toxic. So be mindful of that. The other one is Marigold. Marigold is really good for protecting against gossip as well. And bay leaves are actually really good as well. So really common things that most of us have got: the peppercorns, the cloves, the bay leaves. Easily accessible and all really good for working in spells to protect against gossip. Lani, when I'm at school, I've learned to just keep quiet, get on with my coursework and help the students. Yeah. It happens in the workplace quite a lot, doesn't it? Maria, I usually hear gossip about me from people who don't really bother with me, and from the person unfortunately stuck in the middle. Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? You do get caught up in it. Very easily to get caught up in it. Mel loves cloves. I do too. It is one of my favourite spices is cloves. Debbie, I try to keep away from anyone who gossips about their friends, as I know she'll be talking about me next. Yep. Try not to give her any info. Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? Don't feed the fire. Don't feed the fire. Sue says she'll have a look in Star Child next time I'm there for Foxglove. I don't actually use Foxglove in magical workings because of the toxicity of it. If I use it, I use an image of it, or if I had, we do have them in the garden in pots so that we can put them out of the way of the dog. But images of it work very well as well. Mel burns clove incense all the time, especially in the shop. It helps to stop wagging tongues. It does, doesn't it? Clove is absolutely brilliant. Jane says slippery elm is good for shutting up gossips. Not one I work with, but I tend to go with clove. But excellent, thank you, Jane. But cloves, yeah, good. Easily accessible and easy to work with, as are black peppercorns. So they are all really good. We've got some crystals here. That are really good for protecting against gossip or stopping gossip. They also bring in a little bit of protection against it as well. So garnet is the first one. I've got so many webcams up here, I'm not sure which one I'm holding up to. Garnet is really good. Bloodstone is another one. That's one of my favourite go-to. Bloodstone, really good for protection against gossip. Lapis lazuli is another really good one. Brings in a bit of protection as well. And good old rose quartz. Brings in protection and protects against gossip. Jane says the garnet looks delicious. It does actually, doesn't it? Yeah, you could. It does look like a little sweetie. Sue, I never thought of using an image instead of the real thing. I do it all the time, Sue, particularly when I'm working with animal spirits. I just get an image off of the internet. But yes, if you haven't, and if you've got the oracle cards with the flowers in, you could just use the oracle card in the spell because it represents the plant. So it's got that energy to it. So yes, definitely use the image instead of the real thing. Sylvia never fits in any groups at work, etc., because I don't share any juicy stuff. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't blame you. Xenia, using an image of foxglove is a brilliant idea because it's such a beautiful plant and looks beautiful in a frame on the wall. Oh, excellent. Ideal. So I've got a little protection spell, and I'm going to hope that the webcam works properly. There we go. You can tell I'm working from a smaller desk now. It's a bit crowded. Let's move that out of the way. Well, actually, we'll put the foxglove card out there so that it's working for us. So this is a bit of a protection spell that calls on the elements to help protect against gossip. So you will need, lifting this up very carefully so that you can all see it. It's a dish of water. It's actually a candlestick holder, but it seemed to fit the bill. I've got water in here. And then you'll need 4 crystals, one to represent each of the elements, which I've got here. So I have a crystal to represent fire. So I have, get the right camera, carnelian for fire. I have blue lace agate for water. I have fluorite for air. I love fluorite. It's one of my favourite ones to work with. And I've got tree agate. for earth. You'll also need a quartz crystal. And I'm going to add in some peppercorns and some cloves as well. Sounds like a recipe, doesn't it? Bake in the oven at gas mark 4. So you need to place the bowl of water in front of you. And I am going to put the foxglove there so that it's representative of it. Lani carries the stones around in my pocket when I am in a place when I know that gossip is going to be potent. Yeah, definitely. Sue loves the dish. It is a candle holder. It is a candle holder. Yes, the tray that I've got it on, the wooden tray I've got it on, is from Freya's Cauldron. Melanie loves fluorite. It's great to get rid of headaches. Excellent. Brilliant. We like multi-purpose things. Sania says a baking spell. I work magic with my baking all the time, Xenia, whether it's the ingredients or baking symbols into it or intent into it. Mel says gossip pudding. Yeah, I quite like the idea of that. I'll have to think about that one. What ingredients would you put in a gossip pudding? Well, cloves, obviously. And I have made quite successful cookies with black pepper in before. There you go. Random. So you need your dish of water, and you need your 4 crystals that represent each of the elements, and you need your central quartz crystal. So I'm going to add some black peppercorns first to the water. So black peppercorns to protect against gossip. And I'm also going to add in some cloves. Gossip protection from the spice of cloves. Sue has just noticed that spell cam. Yes, with the system that I use, you have to put a name in to get the camera to come up. And usually on the camera that I use for this close-up work, I just put a dot, but I thought this morning I'd call it spell cam. Xenia says pudding with black pepper and cloves. Interesting. Actually, you use those spices with sort of ginger and cardamom with chai, wouldn't you? And I have made chai cupcakes. So yeah, chai cupcakes would be excellent for anti-gossip cakes. Tess says it now looks like an artisan gin and tonic. Oh, did I not mention that there's gin in there? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I just put an olive on the top. Sue, if you only have a pepper grinder, would it be okay to use ground pepper? If you've got a pepper grinder, then there will be whole black peppercorns inside it. But if you don't want to take them out, yes, you could use ground pepper. That's no problem. It's still got the same property. And if you've got red peppercorns, they work just as well. So we've got air water charged. You can charge it with the energy, send your channel the energy through you to the water with the intent of protecting against gossip. You can either do it as a protection spell beforehand, or if you know there's gossip going around, you can use it as a protection spell to clear the gossip, to stop it all from happening. Sue, goodness, never thought about blonde. We all do it, Sue. We all do it. Been there, done that quite a lot of times. So now you've got the charged water with the spices in it. You need to pick up the earth stone. So pick up your earth stone and charge it, basically. Ask the element of earth to bring stability and steadfastness for protection, and then pop the crystal in the bowl of water. Now you pick up the air stone, and I've got my fluorite here, so you can see what I'm doing. Pick up the air stone and ask that the element of air blow away all the negative energy, and then pop that one in the bowl. Now we go on to the fire stone, and I have carnelian. You can pick whatever stones you want. If you've just got shells or pebbles, you can use those instead of crystals. Absolutely fine. In fact, if you've got little pebbles and a marker pen, you could draw the element symbols on each one if you wanted to. So you pick up the fire stone and ask that the element of fire bring energy for protection. Pop the crystal in the bowl. And the last one is air. is water, sorry. So you pick up the water stone and ask the element of water to wash away the gossip, wash away the lies and the unkind words aimed towards you. And then pop that in the bowl as well. Now you take the clear quartz crystal and you hold that. See it as emitting a shield around you. See this crystal putting a shield around you, and then pop the quartz in the bowl. And I put that in the center. Sue, doesn't matter what order you put the stones in. No, you can put the element stones in any order that you want, but put the element stones in first and then put the quartz crystal in the middle of them. Now you need to visualize the quartz drawing up all the positive energy and strength from all 4 of the element crystals and from the black peppercorns and the cloves. If you don't want to use the spices, you don't have to, just work with the stones. If you want to put other herbs in, then go for it. Trust your intuition, trust what works for you. But you need to visualize that central quartz crystal drawing up all the energy from the element stones, taking up all the positive energy, the strength, the protection, and working their cleansing magic. Then when you feel it's ready, take the stones out and tip the water onto the earth. Dry and cleanse the coloured stones and keep them for future use. Dry and cleanse the crystal quartz, and you can carry that with you because that's then charged with the energy of all 4 elements and with the protecting against gossip. And then you just carry it with you. When you feel it needs recharging, do the process again. Sue, I always get stumped on words. Just say what you feel. It doesn't have to be anything poetic. You literally just say, pick up the firestone and ask for element of fire, please bring me protection. Pick up the water stone. Element of water, please wash away the gossip. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to rhyme. Say what you want it to do, basically. Karen says, can you do this to protect someone else? You could charge it all up and then give the crystal to them to carry with them. I think it would work really well with children as well, for children to take to school. Mel said, I'd use their photo, pop it under the chalice you're working with. Yep, that would work brilliantly. Absolutely. It's really simple. It's really easy. You can tailor it to your own tastes. You could put salt in the water if you wanted to. That's really cleansing and protective. That would work as well. Change it up. Use whatever crystals you've got, or just use pebbles or stones. Just make sure that you believe they are representative of the 4 elements. And as I say, you can chuck in any herbs or spices that you want to. So that is literally it. That is really, really easy. But tailor it to you. Very, very straightforward, very easy to work with. I think it's wise to have personal protection anyway. You don't have to work that spell particularly for gossip. You could work it to protect yourself against anything, really. You could use it as a personal protection spell. It's really easy and straightforward to do. If you wanted to make it more powerful, you could carry all 5 stones with you. You could make yourself a little spell pouch and put all 5 of the crystals. So you've got the central one and all 4 element crystals with you. You can even chuck a few peppercorns and cloves into the bag as well. Pop it in your handbag, put it on your desk. Yeah, really straightforward, really straightforward. Spells for me have a huge amount of power, but they don't need to be complicated. They don't need 57 different ingredients. They don't need to have expensive ingredients. They don't need to have stuff that's flown in from the other side of the world. So for basics, keeping away that gossip or clearing the gossip, you can just work with the 1 main crystal. But if you want to bring in a real pack of protection punch, and sometimes we need it, don't we? If you are in an office where you feel that there's a lot of gossip and hurtful words going on, you could ramp it up by including all of the crystals in a pouch with some of the herbs and spices. Mel, how long would you have it out working, and would you tip the water outside, or is it okay to flush it down the toilet, excluding the crystals? It's an intuition thing. I think it shouldn't take long at all. With you sitting over it, visualizing the elements coming from the crystals into the main quartz crystal, really a minute or two. It depends how much intent you've got, how much gossip there is to clear, and trust your intuition. If you feel that it needs to sit out under the full moon or under the sun for a bit, under the waning moon would help cleanse, would help clear everything, then do it. Trust your intuition on that one. I would tip the water outside. It's just water, unless you've added salt to it. It is just water, so I would tip it onto a pot plant or onto the garden outside. Give it back to Mother Earth. You can flush it in the toilet if you want to. But I would, the black peppercorns and the cloves, they're all going to decompose out in the garden anyway, so not a problem. But yes, definitely keep the crystals. Just cleanse them and reuse them again. Don't. Crystals are good. They'll last for years. Debbie is currently making a little spell pot to carry with me in my baby bag, as I'm a childminder and other minders can be spiteful. Yeah, it's just the workplace, isn't it? I would definitely chuck some peppercorns and some cloves in that, Debbie. That would work really well. Jane always puts spell water and botanicals in the compost to return it to the earth. Yep, if you've got a compost bin, do chuck it in there. Absolutely brilliant, because then it breaks down and it goes back to the earth, which is almost like giving an offering as well, really, isn't it? But I think it is about protecting yourself. But I think it's also about being mindful of being in those situations. There are some really toxic people about. And I think it's also about accepting that and knowing that it's okay to cut ties. It's okay to walk away from toxic situations. Again, been there, done that, learnt my lessons, hopefully. There's only so long you can put up with toxic people before it starts to affect you. And that's not good. You absolutely have the right to walk away from it all, without a doubt. Debbie has bay leaves, peppercorns, cloves, and a little salt. Perfect. All absolutely brilliant for protection, for cleansing, for clearing negative energy, protecting against gossip. Perfect. And all ingredients that we have in our kitchen cupboards. So magic shouldn't be expensive. It shouldn't be exotic, unless you want it to be. Would a sigil written on the top help? Oh, yeah. If that's what you feel it needs, Debbie, go for it. Go for it. You can draw a sigil on the bag. Draw the sigil on the bag with a pen, but you could also do it with just dipping your finger in salt water if you wanted to. Sue, how would you tweak a spell like this to protect you from unfair criticism and harsh words? Same ingredients, same process, but when you use your words, when you're charging the element crystals, include to protect against unfair criticism and to protect against harsh words. The gossip kind of thing does cover that. Just change the words to suit you. Get from your heart what you need it to do specifically. Sue has walked away from a lot of so-called friends who I felt have been toxic for a long time, and now I've found a friend who's been walking past lives with me. Yeah, that, it happens. Whether people knowingly are toxic or not, I think there is a lot of people that don't realise they are doing it. They are perhaps not so far along their pathway as others. I think if you've worked shadow work, you will hopefully be working through that process. I'm not saying that I always get it right, because I don't. I absolutely don't. We all say things occasionally that hurt people unintentionally. We all do selfish things. It's a bit human nature, really. But yeah, you don't. No one deserves to be in a friendship or in a relationship with toxic people. You're worth more than that, really. But it's difficult sometimes to cut the cords and walk away. But you are absolutely entitled to, and there are spells that can help with that as well. But gossip, we all get caught up in it, and we all see and hear it, really. So foxglove is good stuff for working against it. But say you can just use the image, that's fine. But use whatever, spell ingredients that you guys want. Hello, spell ingredients you guys want to use. It's entirely up to you. And keep it simple. Keep it simple. Any questions? Any more questions? We've being super organized today. Tess, when you charge the crystals, how do you do this? Is this holding them so they get your energy, or stating the intent while holding the crystals, or both? Both. So I would take the crystal in my hands. You will have a dominant hand. It will either be, quite often it is the hand that you write with. Your magical dominant hand is the hand you write with. Bizarrely, mine is my left hand, even though I'm right-handed. So put it in the palm of your dominant hand. Put your other hand over it. And then you need to charge it with energy. Do not charge it from your own energy. Never, never, never draw energy from within your own body. It will make you tired and grumpy and really not nice to be around. It will give you a headache. So draw it from the elements around you, particularly as we are working with the elements. You can draw the energy from the sky, from the sun, from the moon, from the air, from the earth beneath your feet. Your body is, hello. Your body is just the channel for the energy. So draw it from the elements around you and let it channel through your body and into the crystal. But also state your intent while you're holding the crystals. But you can also visualize. So see the toxic people drifting away, or see the toxic people stopping talking or saying nicer things. So it is a combination. It is a combination of holding it, channeling the energy into it, stating your intent, and visualizing it. Jane, it's not always easy to walk away. My 90-year-old aunt is totally toxic and I'm all she's got. I just see her as a sad and bitter, but she does drain all my energy with her. Shield. If you have got toxic people that you can't detach yourself from, then make sure you've got lots of protection and personal shielding in, and then they won't drain your energy so badly. Xenia says, we all make mistakes and also gossip. We all do it, but it's good to realize it and try to do better. Yep. Maria, would the cloves and pepper damage the crystals in a bag? No, they shouldn't do, Maria. Salt would. If you put salt in there as well, be careful that it's not going to adversely react with any of the crystals, because salt can damage some crystals. Debbie, cannot seem to get away from one person. She keeps coming back. I have her in the freezer, but keeps coming back. Any suggestions? If you've done the freezer spell, which is brilliant, and if anyone's not familiar with it, you write the person's name on a slip of paper and pop them in the freezer. If you want to double that up, you can pop the slip of paper in an ice cube tray, pour on water so that they are frozen in ice, and then put them in the freezer. If they are really, really still bothering you, then a binding spell might be the way to go. Binding spell doesn't hurt or harm people, but it will protect you from them and stop them harming you. So that might be worth looking in. Maria said bind you. Yeah. Mel, I have to work on being a channel for energy as opposed to being a battery pack. Excellent way of describing it, Mel. Yes, you don't want to be the battery. You want to be the channel. So yeah, drawing energy from yourself is no good. It will leave you feeling really drained. Jane, freezer spells need redoing after a lunar cycle, in my experience. Yep, you can try it again if you want to. Sometimes it needs a bigger kick up the butt, really. You are under no obligation to allow people to hurt you. Even if you are Wiccan and follow the rule of 3, or the Wiccan read, it doesn't cover not protecting yourself. You are absolutely allowed to protect yourself. Lani says, each crystal has a way of cleansing which is linked with the elements, such as no cleaning a crystal associated with fire and water. Yes, each crystal has a different cleansing method. Some crystals are susceptible to water as well. It can damage them. So do a little bit of research when you're cleansing your crystals to make sure that you've done it in the right way. If you're worried, use visualization or incense smoke. But as Lani says, if the crystals are associated with elements, they are, each one is, then tie it in with that element. So I don't put all of my crystals out under the full moon, because I don't feel that things like carnelian or citrine or any of the fiery stones benefit from being cleansed under the moon. I'll cleanse them under the sun. So just have a little bit of a think about it. Hi, Willow. Willow says, my husband's family was so toxic we had to walk away. Been years now, but they still manipulate other family members to pass messages on. We've set boundaries, but my hubby gets so low and can't let go. Cutting cords is another thing. If you are in that kind of situation, cutting cords also helps. Sue, if I put a name in an ice cube and then by accident put it into my G&T, well, you need to be careful. I would put any binding ones, any freezer spells. Don't put them where you put your ice for your G&T. Jane, when I started spellcasting years ago, I made the mistake of drawing energy from within me and it wore me out. My hair was coming out in handfuls, had to stop for a long time. Yeah, anything you do, whether it's a ritual, healing, spell work, it's all energy work. Sorry, someone's complaining because his blanket's fallen off. You are such a princess. And I am talking about the dog, not my husband. You're a princess too. Anything that you do like that involves energy. And if you're drawing it from yourself, then you are going to make yourself very, very ill. It has to be channeled. And Mother Earth is more than happy to give you as much energy as you need. So whether you draw it from one of the elements, from the earth, from the air, whether you draw it from the sun or the moon, doesn't matter. Just make sure you only channel it and not draw it from within yourself. Maria's brain's not working. Lani can't spell. Yeah, it's one of those. It is absolutely one of those weeks. Sue says Pete was an elf. Yeah, he's multi-talented. Yep. Elf, princess, drummer, hot water bottle supplier. He's very well trained. Unlike the dog. Unlike the dog, who needs a lot more training. So yes, I mean, you know, we all get drawn into it, but you can protect yourself against gossip. You can protect yourself against harsh words, and also remember to protect yourself from yourself. When you are talking, when you are speaking, just be a little bit mindful of how you say things. I can't do that. I'm no good at that. Or actually, you could be. Just have a think about how you say things and be conscious. And if you catch yourself, just change it. And sooner or later, it will become second nature. Maria says, write their name on a piece of paper and say your intention with no harm done and flush the paper down the toilet. Yes, that is definitely another option. Definitely another option. The toilet flushing method of spell work can be very, very successful. It's about releasing and letting go, isn't it? You do have to make that cut the cord. You do have to let go of it. Because things like that, if you hold on to them, they will fester. And that's no good for anybody. No good for anybody. And, I'm not sitting on my high pedestal and telling you how it should be done and lauding it all, because I've been there and I've done it. I've been caught up in it all. And there are some very toxic people and some very toxic groups of people that all get caught up in it. And it is very, very easy to get caught up in it. Andrea, I would write it on a piece of toilet paper. That's better for the environment. Yep, that would make absolute sense, Andrea. And then you're not flushing other paper down the toilet. Lani, thinking before speaking isn't easy sometimes. I'm sure our brains are automatically tuned for speaking before thinking. Oh, mine does that a lot. Yeah, knee-jerk reactions. But that's part of shadow work that's taught me that. I do... Are you singing? I do tend to stop myself now and think before I say. Don't always, but I do try. But that's part of shadow work, because that's a big part of my personality. It's working on yourself, retraining yourself, I guess. Oh, I like that. Jane says you can name jelly babies after people who are toxic and then eat them. Double whammy there, because you get yummy jelly babies too. Excellent. I like anything that involves eating, obviously. It is a way of thinking, and you have to think about things that release and think like the flushing it down the toilet. Trust your intuition, because whenever you're working with spell work, your intuition will guide you to what ingredients to use, to what crystals to use, and how to work the spell and how long it needs to work. But don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Sue says jelly poppets. Well, yeah, poppets are another way of targeting individual people, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah, just be mindful. Be mindful of how you speak about yourself and be mindful of how you speak about other people. But, easy spells to bring in protection against harmful words, hurtful words, and gossip using straightforward ingredients. It is very, very simple and straightforward to do. So that's it for today. Be mindful out there. And as always, if anybody wants me to talk about anything specific, do please message me or pop a note on the comment or, PM me, whatever. Always happy to talk about different things. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. We're in this together. So let's look after each other. Have a fantastic weekend. I'm desperately trying to think if we've got anything coming up. Yes, Sunday the 31st of January, 4 p.m. UK time is our online Kitchen Witch in bulk ritual. So open to everyone. Do please join it. Sue says, do you realise we've been doing this for nearly a year? Gosh, yes, we must be now, mustn't we? Coming up for a year. That's bizarre to think of, really, isn't it? Absolutely bizarre. Yeah, you haven't got rid of me yet. Sorry. Highlight my week, this, talking to you guys. So yes, have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully see you all next weekend at the Invoke Ritual. Have a look on the Moon Books Facebook page for my chats with Ellen Sentia, fellow author. We just waffle about all sorts of things, so do catch up with us as well. If you want to catch up with any of these chats, if you've missed any of them, they are all over on my YouTube channel. And, guys, remember you're not alone. I know it's a really strange world at the moment, and a lot of people are feeling isolated. Reach out to us on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group. We'll all just pile in and have a chat and support each other. And if you're really struggling, do contact myself and the Kitchen Witch team. Don't be alone. We're all here to help. All here to help each other. So thank you, guys, and I will catch you all next Friday. Have a fantastic week.